All right, g'day guys. Welcome back to Stat Chat Sports. You're here with myself, Steve, and Tazza. We're looking at our weekly Premier League review for what is this week? I think this was week 8 of the Premier League. Almost in the double digits already. Good to have the Premier League back this week after a week off due to the Queen's passing. So good to get straight back into it. We're looking at our normal segment, our hits, miss, and the hold fire. Starting off with the hit. There's probably really only one place to go here, and I think it's Tottenham putting 6 past Leicester City. That's their biggest scoreline of the year. Tottenham, probably more importantly, one man Heung-min Son, a 14-minute hat trick coming off the bench. He was under a little bit of fire recently because he definitely hasn't performed to the heights that he hit last year. But a 14-minute hat trick is definitely to light a fire inside of him.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy who hadn't scored a goal all season, those first 2 goals were absolute peaches.
Yeah.
For a guy that he's so universally appreciated and loved, even if you don't support the Spurs, it's good to see him in that form. I mean, he's a joy to watch. Only when he's not obviously playing against your team, but as a neutral, look, it's so good and it couldn't happen to a better bloke. And yeah, I mean, 14 minutes for 3 goals, that's takes some doing, and to come out of that form slump and do it is wild. So good on him.
Yeah, he came out with a point to prove, and I think he's definitely proved it. Yeah, that second goal was typical Son. That off the left foot. He could do it off the right as well, but off that left foot, outside the box into the top corner. You see him score them so many times, and they're not really. You can't stop something like that from a player of Son's quality. So, but I mean, an all round team performance from Tottenham. They had obviously 4 different goal scorers and 5 different players providing the assists. So just a really solid all round team performance from Tottenham. At the moment, at present, they're still yet to lose a game. Them and City are the only 2 teams remaining that are yet to lose a game. They find themselves in third on 17 points, 1 point behind leaders Arsenal, and only separated from City second by goal difference. So they've made a really, really good start to the season. They've got a tough fixture coming up, which we'll touch on a bit later. But for Tottenham fans, this is exactly the position they'd want to be in at this point of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Son probably not having the best start was maybe the one chink in their armor, that one of their stars wasn't really performing on firing on all cylinders. But I mean, pretty quickly fixed that in, like we said, 13 minutes. So
hasn't seemed to cause them too much of an issue, though. Really?
Well, no, but the fact that he is banging them in now, and they just put 6 past Leicester, they mean business, and it's pretty obvious that. For me, I think they're in for the long haul. They're right up there. They're absolutely top 4 candidates, and it's hard to see them being bumped out anytime soon.
Yeah, I agree. Let's stay on this game as we move to our miss. Again, unfortunately, it's pretty obvious. I think that it had to be Leicester this week. Having 6 but put past you is not a good look for them. A little bit of a silver lining though, like that. You look at these stats; they had 19 shots and 7 on target, so they weren't without their chances. But I mean, that's on the attacking front, but you're still shipping 6 goals, so there's a problem seriously in that back line there.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly where the problem lies. And like you said, they control possession, 56 to 43. Oh, sorry, 56 to 44. 19 shots created, 7 on target. I mean, the production's there. They're getting it, and they're playing into the right areas. They're just not finishing, but they're just completely abandoned at the back. And I mean, the loss of Fofana hurts, the loss of Schmeichel hurts, and they haven't really adequately replaced them. So it is costing them a lot, and it's probably going to cost Rodgers his job pretty soon. We've spoken about it. And I'm not sure how it hasn't happened already. And I dare say that has to be before, probably while the internationals are on, that has to be the final nail in the coffin. I don't know how they can expect him to turn that around. It's because there's no signs that that's happening.
Yeah, I agree that he's in some strife. I don't see how he can turn it around, to be honest. Like he's missing some big names in there. Um, Ricardo Pereira as well, who's out at the moment. You're playing, a guy Timothy Castagna at right back, who's typically a winger. It's no surprise that they're leaking some goals, but they've they've got to do something, I think. And I've been seeing a few things that a lot of people saying that Rodgers isn't the step forward anymore. He's almost taken this team as far as they can go. And the more he stays on, the longer he stays on, he's only damaging the squad from here on out, basically. So either I don't think he's about to walk away from the job. That's it's not the type of person he is. But I think the Leicester Monarch, you got to be looking at a potential replacement there, because if they stick with him and continue the way that they're going, it's not going to be looking like a good season for him. And given where they are at the moment, after 8 games sitting rock bottom, with only the solitary point, they don't want to continue on this form. Otherwise, they're going to start to find themselves further and further away from the pack. And I mean, they're already playing catch up, but to be playing catch up from 3 points is a lot better than playing catch up from 6 or 12, as the season progresses. So I can see Brendan Rodgers being the next manager to go. I suppose maybe they'll hold on to him for potentially one more week, though. Their next game is Nottingham Forest, who are only sitting a place above them. So there's potential for points there. If he fails to pick up, I think 3 points, even if he picks up a point in a poor performance, I think he's got to go.
Yeah, it's got to be curtains after that, 100%. And yeah, I completely agree with you. That he probably does get one more week just to get those 3 points, just get the ball rolling again. He needs to I think he needs to reinvent this team a little bit and not be seen as such a one-trick pony, because that's what I think a lot of supporters are saying. Like you said, taking him to the point where they've really maxed out and they need something else. They need a fresh set of eyes, fresh set of tactics, and that's what Rodgers has failed to bring to this point. So I think we need give him one more chance. I mean, as much as Leicester's fan, I've seen the vitriol being thrown out by Leicester fans, and they're just saying, "Rip the band-aid off now, do it." I mean, I think it's 22 goals shipped already in 7 games. I'm pretty sure that's the most over 7 games in the Premier League era. So, not good reading. It's over 3 goals a game, which is just super leaky. Whether the board hasn't provided him with the funds to, obviously Fofana was sold quite late, and it was hard to replace him straight away. But the reinforcements were never there. The talks for Fofana happened over a long time. So whether the board hasn't provided him with enough funds to rejuvenate this team, I mean, we'll probably never know. But I mean, if funds are an issue, Rodgers is apparently owed $10 million if he's to be let go early. He's still got 3 years on his contract at approximately $200K a week. So it's a big price to pay to shift a manager. So I think the tendency will be for Leicester to hold right until the last minute.
Yeah, that's a good point. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for Leicester. Not only are they in danger of losing the manager, I'm sure if they continue on like this, that their star players, James Maddison, Yuri Tielemans his name was thrown around multiple times in the window to be moving on. The likes of Harvey Barnes as well. Players like these will not want to put up with this for much longer, you wouldn't think. So much like Wesley Fofana, they'd want to be out the door relatively quickly. And they haven't got the quality to replace those players at the moment. So they're definitely players they want to be holding on to for sure in the at least in the foreseeable future. All right, Tazza, the hold fire this week. As we get progressively further and further on into the season, the hold fire does become tougher and tougher to to bring one out every week. But we'll continue to do so. We'll do our best until for now, at least. But where are we looking? Where are we looking for this week?
This week we're going to head to Aston Villa. They have registered their first clean sheet of the season, which for a team of their, I want to say their caliber, they should be better than they have been so far. But with a disappointing start and Gerrard possibly looking like he might be on the chopping block, I think we can that talk is premature. Look, clean sheet is a big deal, and I mean it's Southampton. They're not obviously not the cream of the crop, but nevertheless, it's a good stat to get on the board with. They carved out a few chances in this game, and it could have well have been more than the 1-0 scoreline that we saw. It really could have been 3-4. I mean, there was some pretty clear-cut chances, and they did really have the lion's share of that game. The lion's share of the chances. The possession doesn't really read that way at 53-47, but I mean, they really should have scored more. And Southampton, for their part, were quite poor pretty much until the 85th minute when they were able to carve some half chances out, but obviously never took. But yeah, look, Villa hopefully on the up, and I think they're a reasonable hold five for this week.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good pick. I think from what I saw from Villa in this game, starting from the back, they almost just look a little bit lethargic for me. There was a time there where quite early on in the game where there was no sort of pressure being put on them by the Southampton forwards, and he was being played around the back between, sort of Ashley Young, the keeper, and it ends up going all the way back to Martinez, and he just ponders on it for too long, and his kick ends up getting sort of blocked by the oncoming forward. And it's just like that just doesn't need to happen. I think there's just no need for them to be sort of as slow at the back as what they were. There was absolutely no pressure on them, and then just out of the blue, whoever it was, the Southampton player escapes me, but he runs all the way from the other side of the pitch to block the kick before Martinez then decides he's like, okay, maybe it's time to kick it. A little bit of urgency, I think, is what is needed, at least starting from the back anyway. Going forward, they've got plenty of creative players. Coutinho, Leon Bailey is a breath of fresh air, I think, for them. He's their outlet. When he gets on the ball, he can make things happen. He's a very silky, skillful player and can carve chances out of, just about nothing. One of those sort of players. So going forward, obviously the goals might be lacking, but the chance creation, maybe not so much. It's there. They just got to put it away. But I think Gerrard would be looking for more urgency. Look back to maybe Gerrard at his Rangers days, and just how much sort of pressure and intensity and intent there was in their play. And you're just not seeing that from Villa at the moment. And I think maybe if that just starts to click a little bit, then we'll see sort of that old Rangers side from Gerrard sort of come into Villa here, and we'll maybe see probably a bit more of what we were expecting to see at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I don't want to put Villa down too much, but teams towards the bottom and the teams that aren't doing so well probably need to realise that they don't have the ball playing ability out the back that maybe the top teams do. And it's a lot easier to play the ball out. It's a lot easier to press as a forward than it is to properly play the ball out of defence. So, I mean, you can run and run and run all day, and you can hassle all you want. And it's going to be so much easier to close down a defence like that are trying to play the ball out. So maybe, like you said, yeah, they do need to get back to that. I mean, they've got like you said, they got the talent up forward and in midfield. So just get it there. I mean, it's easy just to say get it there, but no dilly-dallying on the ball. It's just not. It's not going to be fruitful for them because they don't have the ball playing centre backs that maybe some of the top teams do, and we see happening near the top of the table.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely a fair comment. You see so too many times these teams down the lower end of the table try to play that progressive out the back football, and they get caught on it because the quality is just not quite there of the likes of the top sides. So I think they've got to take that. They've got to take a look at that and see that, okay, it's not for us. Let's skip the extra 2-3 passes. Miss the man, get it into the midfield. I think for me, Tyrone Mings is an issue. I've never rated the bloke. And I think he found himself out the team. He's lost the captaincy to John McGinn since Gerrard's come in. He found himself out the team early days with Diego Carlos. But to my knowledge, I didn't even realize, but he must be injured because he's not in the squad at the moment. So Mings is back in. And he just looks like, I don't want to peg him down too much, but he looks like a disaster class when he plays. There's, and I feel like Villa fans would agree with me from the most part, at least. He's not their best defender by any means. Prone to a few errors. So a few areas I think that Villa can tighten up on. But yeah, I mean, short and sharp this week, I think, in terms of the review section. We'll look forward to next week's games later on in the week with a separate video. In terms of this video, this is going to be it for now. Thank you for watching. If you're new here or you're not subscribed already, please do. We're close to the goal of 500 subs. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below on the 3 teams we've spoken about today. So without further ado, we appreciate you watching, and we'll see you all next time. Cheers.